Hello everyone and welcome to Best Side Cycling. Today we're at the edge of the International District at 5th and Jackson Street riding on these new bike lanes. These new bike lanes connect from King Street, which is a neighborhood greenway, up here to Main Street and then onto 2nd Avenue, which is one of the main corridors that you use to connect east to west through downtown Seattle. This parallels the road that I just did a video on, 4th Avenue, and this one has been around a lot longer. And when I checked out your comments on that 4th Avenue video, a lot of guys were mentioning about the number of lights and timing of lights and how that differed from 2nd Avenue. And I went back and looked at my footage and I was simply astonished by the number of lights and how many times I actually had to stop crossing through this 1.2 mile corridor. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to put these two counters up here, and as I'm riding through from here, 2nd Avenue and Main Street all the way to 2nd Avenue and Bell, which is not the complete 2nd Avenue, but most of it, we're going to see how many times I actually have to stop and how many lights we actually pass. And yeah, I had a blast editing this because I was just so shocked at this number. But let's go. So this is now 2nd Avenue and Main Street, and we're heading into Pioneer Square. This is one of the old neighborhoods and is home to the Underground Tour that is sort of one of the popular tourist destinations. And since we're going to be stopping at so many lights, I'm going to take the liberty of fast forwarding whenever we get to one, or else this video is going to be very, very long, spoiler alert. So with Pioneer Square, biking wise, there is going to be a fair amount of foot traffic, and I would just say to just keep your heads up, especially when it gets closer to dark. Unfortunately, just with the locals here, a number of people here, I have heard things happen around here during, especially closer to the darker hours. So have a heads up if you are heading in this area. But now this is Yesler Way. You can turn left and connect towards Alaskan Way, which is your way to get to the ferry terminal to go to Bainbridge Island, or you can go to West Seattle, or if you make a right here, that would be heading right towards Central District. So we're 3 for 3 right now, and we haven't had a lucky break, but I think coming up here, we finally make the yellow and then could pass our first light without stopping. Hooray. So today I'm riding my commuter bike, which is still a road bike, but it isn't my sort of fastest setup. And I would say I'm an above average climber. This whole ride here all the way to Bell is mainly on a gradient, probably actually in the 3 to 4 to 5% range. And here, don't follow my example, as even at the 5 light count, I get a little bit impatient and just cross the light. If you do that, you really do have to watch out, because cars up ahead can make a left turn. So you not only have to look to your left, you also have to look ahead of you, make sure that there's no cars at all before making any maneuvers. But as I was saying, like, I'm probably going at a pretty average, above, or maybe slightly above average commuter speed. Maybe not a person fully out on kit trying to hit a KOM, but even then, we're now at a count of 5 to 7. So we're slowly making our way through, and I would definitely say we're not halfway there yet. But anyway, back to talking about 2nd Avenue. 2nd Avenue is still a great cycling road to use in terms of destinations you can hit. You'll pass by many of the main financial buildings and offices, as well as basically be at the doorsteps of Pike Place Market and things like that. So it's definitely still worth a visit, and using this, it's still very useful. In terms of safety, this is something that I called out in a previous video, but I want to call it here again, is that because of this gradient, going on the opposite direction facing us is going to end up being a little precarious for various reasons. One is that, as you can tell, there's going to be a lot of different openings coming up, and the chances of cars not being able to see you due to this parking that sometimes is here on the left, like for example here, is actually for some of them is actual parking spots, and then just the amount of garage openings and things, it just doesn't make for a good place for you to be going fast due to the limited vision that the cars have, as well as since you're going the same directions as the cars and they're making a left, I'm constantly having to look over my shoulder and making sure no car darts out the left turns. The left turns do explicitly tell them to wait for a green, but you know, it's downtown and everybody's in a rush. So with those factors and the new 4th Avenue bike lanes, my suggestion is if you are trying to go westbound in downtown, I would probably use 4th Avenue, it's fine as well, or use 2nd Avenue is okay. And then, but if you're going eastbound, I'd probably stick with 4th Avenue, i.e. going southbound. And then that would, I think, make for a more pleasant commute, but I know a lot of you guys know what you're capable of and have seen these roads. So, but anyway, we're now at 2nd and Union, I believe. There's a Target here, but we're soon approaching the sort of core of downtown, and these are the parking garages I was mentioning earlier where there's a lot of cars turning in and out, people that want to visit the downtown shops, and this car that's clearly not where it's supposed to be is exactly the reasons why the gradient here is not very safe. So definitely just have a heads up when you're riding here and expect the worst. If anything, I've also ridden here before and I've seen literal pedestrians getting hit by bicyclists or bicyclists getting hit by pedestrians. It all happens around here. So right here to our left is Pike Place Market. And I don't give you guys a great view, but they have bike lanes that do go in the perpendicular direction to this, so north-south. So there's definitely ways to connect here, and really, this is still a great way to access the downtown and see all the sights that you'd like to see. But as we're coming up here, we are getting a few lights now. We're getting some lights and some momentum, not stopping, which is great. I'd say 9 out of 14 is still a bit of a failing score, but let's see what holds ahead. And it's another red light, so I guess I shouldn't have been too surprised. But as we pass by this downtown core area, we're going to be entering the likes of Belltown, and Belltown is sort of known to have a lot of local bars, eateries, and different things. So I think some would still consider it downtown, but it sort of has its own name and vibe to it. So if you're still watching this video and you're enjoying what you're seeing, please roll over the like button and subscribe. It'll really do wonders and motivate me to make more content like this. I really started this channel just to get people out on bikes here in the greater Seattle area. So if you're in support of that, totally roll over that like button and subscribe. And as we're nearing 500 subscribers, I've actually been preparing some things for you guys in the coming weeks, and that is some new jerseys and swag that you guys can order and then wear along as well to support this community. But I'll have a lot more to share about that very soon. So, but anyway, we're now into Belltown, and the dynamic's a little different with just more permanent parking here on the left, but the lights and the stops continue. So we're really close to our destination, just about a couple blocks left. So there's only a maximum of 2 lights I think we can hit, but we'll see what happens. But honestly, when I created this video, I had no idea what really to expect. And when I went through this actually editing and finding out this number, I was simply laughing and astonished at how in this 1 mile corridor there can be a total of 18 traffic lights or bike signals and getting stopped at 13 of them. And honestly, I'd have to say that's sort of a failing grade in a way, but I would still definitely recommend this corridor for people to use in terms of commuting and reaching some of those popular stops that we passed by today. But in terms of the comments that people told me about just how many lights they had to stop at, how the timing felt so off, I think we have some objective idea now of what that actually is and feels like. But anyway, that's all I had for this video. Hope to see you guys in the next one, and thank you so much.